Take a deep breath. Chant the Om. 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 स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। यथाग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता हिया सर्वविद्यास्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। Let us chant the sacred Gayatri Mantram 3 times. Om Bhurbhuvassuvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। We meditate on the spiritual effulgence of that adorable supreme divine reality, the source or projector of the 3 worlds. May that supreme divine being stimulate our intelligence so that we may realize the supreme truth. Selfless universal prayer. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, sarvastaratu durgani, sarvo bhadrani pashyatu, सर्वसद् बुद्धिमाप्नोतु सर्वत्र नंदतु। हरि ओम। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Harihi Om. As you inhale and exhale the prana shakti, think of positive vibrations, peaceful vibrations, strong vibrations, pure vibrations. vibrations of fearlessness. Think that all the opposites of these are destroyed within your mind and body. Breathe out, exhale the vibrations of strength, peace, purity, positivity. Whatever we are doing, morning till night, day after day, let us resolve to do it in the attitude of yoga, self-improvement, manifestation of the divinity which is already within us. Right from brushing the teeth in the morning till we have our night meal and switch off for the day. Any action, any thought, any speech, any work as an offering to that cosmic being is yoga. Five times Omkaram, please. Oh. Sorry. Take a deep breath again. Oh. Mentally, please offer your salutations to the all-pervading blissful spirit, the Paramatman within you and who is manifest in the universe. Let us offer our salutations to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharda Devi and Swami Vivekananda, and all great teachers, all great saints in the whole world. Teachers and saints whose teachings we all have inherited. May they inspire us with love for the truth. Rub the palms up very nicely, please. Gently roll over your eyelids, forehead, face. All others, please switch on your camera without delay. And we are entering into the final day of this very interesting course with a lot of insights, a lot of knowledge and practical exercises. And it is up to us, up to you to implement them in life, is it not? Application. This class is good, that class is excellent, this is wonderful, is all okay. But big question mark is, an ounce of practice is better than tons of tall talk. Abhyasa yoga, ananya yoga. This is our problem in our country. Somebody told me the best students of yoga in daily life, it seems, are the Japanese at one time. As far as their discipline, yogic lifestyle, that respect to nature, respect to anything around, everything is so beautiful, so contributing to the welfare of health and wealth. You can imagine 1944, Hiroshima, Nagasaki bombing, the atomic bomb was experimented on them. And even now, after 75 years or 80 years, the effect is still there. The effect of that two bombs, August 6th and August 8th. So even then, how did these young Japanese, whose economy was totally shattered, lakhs of people evaporated within seconds, they become a superpower? Not just in wealth or technology or infrastructure, but the Japanese culture, the Japanese attitude, that is yoga. That is called practical Vedanta. Swamiji wanted that to come to our doorstep. What did he say? My mission in life is to help mankind manifest their divinity in every moment of life. See the last sentence? In every moment of your life. So we have put a compartment, we have put walls of selfishness, laziness, and consider ourselves as great yogis. It's only a false self-image. What we are trying to do, human excellence, is to shake off the delusion, to remove the hypnotic effect of the samsara. The samsara which has no sara. You see? No essence, no inner stuff. It is like a beautiful plastic orange fruit. Mosambi. Mosambi, very nice plastic we can make. Like artificial rose, plastic rose. Is it valuable? It's a decorative piece full of dust, full of cobwebs, and it will be in a corner. No fragrance. It doesn't die, it doesn't grow. What is the use of that life? So yoga is a evolution. Please keep that word in mind. Evolution. Purogati. Destruction is adhogati. So this is where we have to work very hard, work every day. It's not that hard work is important. It is the smart work and it is the yogic work style. This is where Sri Ramakrishna came, Swamiji came, Ma Sharda Devi came, all other great teachers have come. So we have tried, we are trying, we are contributing to all of you, and through you to your family, to your neighbors, to your relatives. Let that networking increase, please. So today is the 6th day, 3 days of yogasanas, pranayamas, mudras, omkarams, all were taught to you, or you learnt it again, renewed your syllabus, mental syllabus, is it not? Then 2 days of Ayurveda by 2 experienced doctors, one from Chennai, one from Tirupati. And today we'll have a networking, we'll have a combination of integrated wellness or your holistic wellness, holism. Today is that big talk. It's not just health, it is the wellness. Arogyam, not just sharirika balam. So Ayush, when we say, it is not the prana, it is called the prana shakti. How we use it, where we are using, where we are blocking it. So today we have that kind of subject from Dr. Vivek Modi. Some of you have heard his classes in other topics. So he is a doctor, and at the same time, he is a wellness expert. He specialized in this and conducting workshops all over the country. Our senior faculty of VIHE. So he has joined us live from Hyderabad itself. So he will take up that particular angle and give you the best possible solutions and keep you on the right track. So Monday onward, same time, 6 days, mind management. Some of you have joined those courses, completed, but what happens is don't stop learning. Don't stop learning. You do not know, new faculty will come from different parts of the country. They will give new ideas, new stories, new examples, because mind is such a thing which is changing every moment. And there's no past tense or this one. It is always continuous present tense. We have to learn more and correct our mistakes. So you can join this course and or inspire or motivate your friends and others to join our specialized courses, mind management, Monday onwards, 2nd August. It goes on till next Saturday. Okay. This is our immediate project. Yogasana batch also will start. Please join that. Morning 6 to 6:45 for seniors, 6:45 to 7:45 for first timers or beginners or those who have not much flexibility in the body. They will undergo that course again. Ladies batch separate is there in the evenings or in the morning itself. Please join that. Those information I need not give. It's all in the domain, public domain of the website, our Ramakrishna Math app, Hyderabad. Please download that. There will be links for evening classes, links for our Arati and Bhajan, links for our Sunday classes. All will come in the app, Ramakrishna Math Hyderabad app. So you can download it and save it. And website also /VIHE, and then you get the registration form and bank account details. Okay. So this is announcements at present. Anything else, we shall inform you. So have a good learning today. Clear your doubts, and over to Dr. Vivek Modi. Namaste, Vivek Modi ji. Welcome for the class.
Pranam Swamiji.
Yes, pranam, subhodayam, greetings.
Subhodayam. Greetings, Swamiji.
And may Sri Ramakrishna bless you. Platform is yours.
Thank you so much. Namaskar to all. Welcome to this session on holistic wellness. I'm sure by this time, most of you are aware that if we have to live a healthy life, it is much more than just looking for healthy body. Healthy body is a good foundation, no doubt. We need healthy mind as well. And if you look in totality, mind and body are not separate. This separation is for our convenience. We have made it so that we can understand it better and we can get better remedial approaches. Now, when we talk about holistic wellness, one aspect is understanding the areas about which I need to develop my knowledge and understanding. So in that, you may think like, I have 1, 2, 3 problem. I have a lot of stress. I have hypertension, high blood pressure, or my sugar is uncontrolled, or I'm not able to sleep well, or I may have what we call acid peptic disease, acidity problem, indigestion problems, frequent headaches, joint aches. These are the things which have become a very common thing that everybody in his 30s and 40s and 50s feels that they are bound to happen. They are natural extension for our life. Later part of life will go with at least few of these things. Now, let's understand here first fundamental. Why it happens that we end up trapping ourselves. We end up trapping ourselves towards poor health. One fundamental to understand here, and before I will open it for your queries and discussions, one fundamental to understand is the difference between growth and development. Difference between growth and development. Is there anybody who can tell me what is the difference between growth and development? You can raise your hand, and I'm not sure if you are allowed to speak. You can probably unmute and speak directly. That would be easy. Anybody can raise your hand and speak. You are allowed to be wrong. Hopefully I'm clearly audible. You want me to louder? Just let me know. Be frank. Growth and development, दोनों में क्या अंतर है? Okay, let me see if you are allowed to do it. Yeah, now I have allowed to unmute yourself. Some of you have written in the chat box. I am seeing that. Growth is just increase in quantity, development is increase in quality, Gautam says. Yes, Gautam ji, you are dot on. So I think nobody needs to speak. Gautam ji has already given the answer here. Growth is quantitative in nature and development is qualitative in nature. Growth, 1 mango, 2 mango, 3 mango. Development, unripe mango, ripe mango. Sweet mango, sour mango. This is qualitative difference. Quantitative difference is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me ask a follow-up question. And now I would allow you to unmute and speak. Just raise your hand, and then whoever name I say, that person can answer so that there is no chaos. So what is easy between growth and development to be measured? Between growth and development, what can be measured easily? Growth or development? Now that you know one is quantitative, one is qualitative, who would answer? Raise your hands. I can see. Okay. Maybe you are more comfortable in. Okay, Vamshiji. Vamshiji, yes. Unmute yourself and speak.
So good morning, sir. Growth we can measure easily compared to quality.
You can measure growth easily because it is quantitative in nature, right?
Yeah, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes,
good. But we can't measure with the quality.
Quality is not easy to be measured. That's why the milkman who comes and deliver milks at your home, you can easily say milk is less or more. You can easily see the measurement. That is easy for any ordinary person. But what is the quality of milk, you may not be able to make out of it. Yeah. So good answer, Vamshi. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Now let me ask another question. Because growth is easy to be measured, what will we usually talk about? Growth or development? What will people ask you in your daily conversation? Will their conversation be about how much growth you have or how much development you have? And what is easy to be explained? Obviously growth, as Vamshi told. So what happens is, in our daily life, when we are thinking about progress in life, our mind is naturally skewed to focus more on growth. and less on development. Because everybody is talking about growth. For example, somebody gets a new job. What are the questions you ask that person? What is the salary? Which company? How much package? What is the designation? Look at all these 4 questions. They are related to growth. They talk about growth. There is something quantifiable there. And it's easy to be answered. My salary is so much. This is the company I work. This is the designation I have. This is the kind of work profile I have. Very easy to answer. Imagine if somebody asked, what is the quality of your work? It's difficult to answer. You cannot give a one-word answer there. You cannot measure it easily. So when I see that everybody is asking me about growth-related question, subconsciously I assume that is what matters in life. Of course, growth matters, there is no doubt. So I create my entire personality, my planning around how to grow in life. 5 years down the line, my salary should be so much. 5 years down the line, my designation should be so much, so and so. 5 years down the line, I should have that many followers. Such are the thought process of majority of the people. There are always exceptions. What happens because of that? We focus too much on growth. We take a hit on development. We focus too much on growth. We take a hit on development. We forget to plan that 5 years down the line, I should be a little more healthy. I should have better relationships with my friends, family members, with my spouse, with my kids, with my parents. I should have grown a little more spiritually. I should have developed a little more emotional intelligence. I should have contributed I would contribute towards society something in my capacity. These goals are usually missing from people's goal list. So everybody starts a career with the plan that 10 years down the line, I will have a big car, big bungalow, this, that, everything. But if you see, majority of them, 10 years down the line, they are not more happy. Yes, they are more comfortable because they have big bungalows, big salaries, big cars. Everything is there. But maybe they are popping up a pill to sleep, frequent backaches, indigestion, headache, hypertension, high cholesterol, all these things. If not 10 years, 15 years. If not 15 years, 20 years. This is what is happening. In general, I have seen as a doctor. So we walk into this trap of paying with our development in order to get growth. And this takes away the holistic part from our wellness. Our body takes a hit, our relationships take a hit, our overall happiness takes a hit. And I'm sure you all would agree that I want to be successful because I think success will give me happiness. True or not? Yes or no? Yes. I can see you, all of you in the camera also. So you can nod also like this. You can just give a nod so I can get the feedback. And those who have yet not switched on the camera, I request them to switch on the camera so that I feel like I'm talking to you and not to your DPs or your names. Yes. So because of this trap, although nobody plans to live miserably, but they walk into the trap of losing on their quality of life at the cost of making their life a little more comfortable. And that's where our wellness takes a hit. This is not a knowledge challenge. All of you know this. But this happens because of the way things are structured in today's world. We all can say we are more comfortable than our grandparents, great-grandparents, no doubt. We are eating probably more variety of food. We are having better clothing. We are having better shelter. We are having better means of transportation and communication. So much comfort has come in our life. But can we really confidently claim that we are more happy? There are doubts. We are more comfortable, we have grown so much, but we may not have developed in terms of our overall wellness. So intelligence suggests now that I know this, I will see that while I keep on growing, there is nothing wrong in that. I should earn more and more money so that I can contribute more. I can give a good life to myself and my family members. There is nothing wrong in that. Wealth should go into right hands, and therefore all the people who are well-meaning, they should earn more money. There is nothing wrong in that. But at the same time, I will not lose my happiness, my peace, my time with my family, my health, so that I can enjoy money. I can enjoy whatever I'm doing. I can feel the sense of fulfillment. And that's why holistic wellness is paramount in its importance, because it gives you a great life. Our life, human life, is predominantly experience intense. It is not intellect intense. We can create strategies, logic. We know why this should be done and why this should not be done. But experience of our life decides quality of our life. Experience of our life decides quality of our life. It is more driven by emotions and less by intellect. Intellect helps us in get guidance, but most of the time you are driven by your subconscious. It is a conditioned body and mind which drives you most of the time. And that conditioned mind is usually driven with what we in a loose term call lower mind. Lower mind is quite close to animal mind, quite close. It is designed for survival. It is not designed for happiness. The primary function of the mind, which helps us to move in the life, which is lower mind, is designed for survival, not for thrival, not for happiness. And because it is designed for survival, it has a natural affinity to negativity. It has natural affinity to negativity because it is always conscious. Where is the threat? So anything which is negative, we tend to focus that more. That is why if you look at the newspaper headlines, television headlines, they focus more on negative news because there are more eyeballs on that. More people will watch that because most people, most of the time in their life are driven by their lower mind, which at default mode is having survival instinct, attracting negativity, aiming only few things in the life, only looking at the growth and not functioning or not taking the order from the higher center of the mind. Our higher centers, which make us truly human, Homo sapiens, have developed some beautiful thing in human brain, which is called prefrontal cortex. Frontal cortex, and in that also prefrontal cortex. Latest piece of technology in the world is prefrontal cortex, that part of our brain which forms, if you see brain is like this, if you look like this, these are the fibers which form prefrontal cortex. And if prefrontal cortex gets into charge, it is there from where we are getting all our virtues. It is there by which we can actually change the default mode of our lower mind. Default mode is what? Fight and flight. That is default mode. Survival. Not trusting anyone easily. Focusing on only me, because that's a survival mode where I'm focusing only on me, not we, me. But as we grow in our consciousness, as we get mature, we can consciously program our lower mind and change its default setting to trust little more, to work for happiness and not just survival, to collaborate with people, to plan for things which are not short-term oriented, but long-term oriented. These are all functions of higher mind. Lower mind is driven by pain or pleasure, simple. I want this rasgulla because this will give me pleasure. I want this gulab jamun, this pastry, whatever it is, that fast food. Because they drive us, they give us instant happiness. Short-term happiness. But what if I am diabetic? What if I am not keeping balance? What if I am not exercising enough? This will give me long-term problem later on. But our lower mind will say, this is just one rasgulla, what will happen? Just one gulab jamun, what will happen? One more cigarette. Every smoker thinks next week onwards, next month onwards, next birthday onwards, next Diwali onwards, I will not smoke. 50, 60 Diwalis have gone, they have not yet realized. One day in a CT scan, something, some patch is there, and that will make him realize what that person has lost. But by that time, it's too late. I have seen practically people's reaction when they get diagnosed with these things. I've seen the kind of regret they feel. I've seen people in their late 50s and 60s, their only regret is, doctors, please, I wish my knees were working. I wish my eyes were working. I wish I could eat whatever I like. This acidity problem, this headache problem, these body pains. In their late 50s, they realized. You know why this happens? It's not that they were not aware when they were young. There is a wonderful saying, Ghar ki murgi dal barabar. In Hindi we say, Ghar ki murgi dal barabar. Whatever comes easily, whatever comes without much effort, whatever comes without a price tag, we often miss to realize the value of it. So a very poor man was walking by a big mansion, a big bungalow. And as he was walking by, he sees a big car, maybe Mercedes, Maybach, or some Rolls Royce. Big car comes there, and the owner of that bungalow, a 70-year-old man, walks out of that car. And this man goes to him and looks at this rich man, makes the eye contact and says, God is so unfair. God is so unkind. Look at me. I don't even get decent food to eat. And look at you. You are enjoying everything in life. This is not fair. This poor man was about 20, 25-year-old. And this rich man was about 70-year-old. Rich man says, I don't know whether you realize about your wealth or not. But let me tell you, with all the wealth what I have, I cannot buy 1 year of life. If you were to live as much long as I have lived, you have at least 45 years more in your kitty. With all my money, I can't buy 1 day. But you have the health. You have the time by which you can buy everything. So therefore, with that calculation, you are richer than me. Because my wealth cannot buy what you have. But you, if start working in a right way, can got all what I have, you can get. Therefore, my friend, you are actually richer than me. But we don't realize. A 25-year young thinks that, oh, look at that man. He has so much. This is a common flaw. Ghar ki murgi dal barabar. I have got something phenomenal at my command, which is human technology, human tool. There's a wonderful spiritual quote. He says, we are not human beings having spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings having human experiences. So if there is an energy, which I call me, which makes a difference between a live and a dead person, then this energy has got one of the best machines in the world. Forget about the Rolls Royce. You have a human body with 8,600 crore neurons, the most sophisticated computer in the world. How many of us actually realize the value of it when we have it in its prime? We have it in its prime. We misuse this. Most people misuse it because they are still operating from the lower mind. They are still trapped into short-termism. Short-termism. So what I do not maintain my finance. I have that shiny object on the shelf of a shop. I want to buy that iPhone. I want to buy that new bike, that new car. Although I know my financial security will take a hit, I'll not be able to save for later on. But I take that because right now I want happiness. I'm not able to see the consequence of it. Right now I want to eat something. Right now I want to indulge into an activity which will give me short-term pleasure, long-term pain. I still not learned how to overcome this tendency. This is why we walk into the trap even after knowing the things. And we call ourselves, we are the most evolved people. See, no dog, no cow has probably these kind of problems what we have. Anxiety, depression. Cow को time ही नहीं है उसके लिए. Oh, I'm so anxious. Oh, I'm getting depressed. No, I'm not making fun of anyone who is going through this. I completely empathize with them. Okay. And I'm not suggesting that it's their mistake. But somewhere we have walked into that trap unknowingly. Somewhere we have not realized to operate from the higher mind. So I will just give you a couple of tips, and after that I'll open it. Since it's the last session, I would like to give you an opportunity to solve any of the queries which you have. And if I can do it in best of my capacity, I'll do it. Otherwise, we take that question and pass it on to the appropriate expert so that you get solution to your queries. So your question may be, sir, what should we do? Tell us something. Now I'm telling you something to be done. Okay, I'm giving you a very clear, simple thing. Because in wellness, there are 1,000 things. Even 10 hours class is not enough. So I'm telling you one lowest hanging fruit. I might have told it in other sessions, but that is the lowest hanging fruit. And don't get confused again. That which is coming cheaper and that which is easier is not important. Actually, that is most important. There was a social media post which suggested how great it would be. There was a picture of a tree and a line written below it. How great it would be if all trees were Wi-Fi hotspots. We'll get nice internet anywhere. Just go near the tree and access the internet now. How great. Then it was written, alas, it doesn't give Wi-Fi signals. It just gives oxygen. So please understand, sometimes what we get by default, what we get easily, what we get cheaper, do not misunderstand the value of it. Oxygen is much more important than the Wi-Fi signals. So first thing what you can do in order to improve your overall wellness is this simple exercise for at least 10 to 15 minutes every day. And this exercise is deep, slow, smooth, rhythmic breathing. Deep, slow, smooth, rhythmic breathing. And I suggest you for at least 100 days, do not intellectually try to understand. Although I can explain it as a doctor. I can explain everything about how it helps. For 100 days, mere pe bharosa karke kar lo. And then see how it has affected you, how it has actually helped you in improving your willpower, in reducing your many other chronic health issues up to a level. Your headaches will go down, your sleep quality will improve. It will help in everything. See, you don't ask this question to yourself that, why should I sit and spend 1 hour on Instagram? What is the logic in that? What is the logic of eating something late night at 12 a.m., getting up, going into the kitchen and opening that Maggi noodles and having it? We don't ask those questions. So I'm requesting you, what I'm suggesting you, don't ask any question for that. Follow it, because that is easier to be done. Yes. Now, if still, because you have intellectual mind and it will ask you so many questions without knowing reasons, we don't do anything. We do only foolish things without knowing reason. No smoker asks, what is the reason of putting this up, putting my lot of money into this and smoking it and burning my lungs every day basis? They don't ask this question. But we ask these questions. So let me tell you why it works. I'm giving you a super simplified version. I could have given you a more complicated version as well. But let us keep it simple. In today's world, most of us are hyperactive on our sympathetic nervous system. There is something called autonomous nervous system in our body, which regulates all those involuntary actions. Your heart rate, your blood pressure, your digestion, all those things, your blood flow, everything is managed automatically, your hormonal balance. You don't have to think, oh, I want higher insulin, come on, insulin, come. It won't come like that, right? It happens automatically, your body does it. Yeah, you don't have to remember. So when we are hyperactive on sympathetic, what is the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic? They both work in tandem. Sympathetic nervous system excites you. It makes you work. Okay, it makes you hyperactive. It gives you that fight and flight reaction. It protects you. All that is done by sympathetic nervous system. Protects you against a danger. Okay, not otherwise. Parasympathetic nervous system basically helps you in rest, digest, healing. Rest, digest, healing. Now, in general, the trend for the current people who are living in the current world with decent, whatever modern lifestyle we are following, they are hyperactive on their sympathetic nervous system and very less on parasympathetic nervous system. That means there is less rest, less digest, less healing. Your parasympathetic nervous system gives you a good quality of sleep, because of which in your sleep, not just your mind realigns itself, not just your memory goes and settles it to right way, but it does lot of other intense healing activities. It deals with all those things which have created temporary inflammation in your body. It settles it down. It clears everything. Now you may think, no, I am sleeping for good 8 hours. Again, you are getting trapped. Growth, development. Quality of sleep is fine. What about, quantity of sleep is fine. What about quality of sleep? Quality of sleep is not as good as it should be. And this is not I am suggesting. This is what the trend very much visible in so many of the surveys they have done. Very clear. Now what happens? All your chronic lifestyle diseases, be it diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, your spondylosis, your backache, neck ache, your thyroid issues, most of this among women, PCODs, all those things are directly, indirectly related to inflammation. High inflammation in the body will create all these things and many kind of cancers. 9 out of 10 cancers come because of lifestyle issues. Because we are living a certain kind of lifestyle, that's why those kind of cancers pop up. So we are responsible for bringing them in our life. So simple hack is, how do I activate my parasympathetic system a little more and calm down my sympathetic system little more? How do you do it? By slowing down your breathing. Important aspect, remember those four things. Deep, slow, smooth, no jerky pranayam. So here your Kapalbhati pranayam doesn't find place in this activity. I'm not telling Kapalbhati pranayam is not useful. It is useful, but not for this purpose. Okay. Number 4 is what? Smooth and rhythmic. Important aspect to remember, it has to be in a particular rhythm. Now, if you have a specific question, how slow it should be? 4 to 6 breaths per minute. Your normal breathing is 12 to 14 per minute. You bring it to 4 to 6 breaths per minute. Very easily you can do it. I do it with 2 breaths per minute. And most of you will be able to do it if you try. 4 to 6 breaths to 6 breaths every minute for 10 minutes. You have to do it. Then what should be the rhythm? Somewhere about 4 to 5 seconds for inhalation, maybe 1 or 2 seconds for pause, and exhalation should be little more than inhalation. Okay. So if 5 seconds is your inhalation, let us say 2 seconds you are pausing, and you are giving 7 seconds for exhalation, 14 seconds you have given to yourself. Okay. If you do it in 15 seconds, you are breathing 4 times in a minute. Okay. Maintain this ratio. 5-2-7, 5-2-7, whatever is comfortable. It could be 4-1-6 for someone, depending on your capacity. Maintain that rhythm. Fully breathing in, fully breathing out. When I say fully, see that your tummy comes out, then your chest comes out. Both parts should come out when you are breathing in. Not just chest, not just tummy. First tummy, then chest. Because when the diaphragm goes low, see there is a muscle between your tummy and your chest area. And when that pulls down, then your lungs expand fully. Lungs do not have muscles. Lungs just expand by negative pressure in your cavity, chest cavity. Therefore, you have to pull out your abdomen and you have to completely breathe in from your chest. Do not try to put extra effort. Do it as much as you can do with comfort. You don't have to do too much of that. Yeah. And usually you will find one trouble here. When you are breathing out, you will see that your exhalation is not able to hold till 7 seconds. You'll be finished in 2 seconds. None. It's very easy. Unless you have cold or stuffy nose, it will happen very easily. Yeah. So how do you handle that? Because in breathing exercise, the important aspect is to master the outflow and inflow in certain way. That is what is the practice. It's not simple breathing. You're anyway breathing. Okay. Pranayam is mastering that during that time. So the simple method to master your exhalation, inhalation, usually people can do it in a very constant rate. They can breathe in a constant rate. But in the exhalation, what happens? Their majority of air comes out in the first 1-2 seconds. And after that, they simply wait for 7 seconds to complete. No, that will not give you result because that has taken away the rhythm. So what I suggest you is the simplest method for doing this is you breathe in and you breathe out with a sound, which could be a humming sound. You can do it for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You know how your sound is produced? Only when you breathe out and your vocal cord vibrate, because of that your sound is produced. So whenever you are actually speaking, you are exhaling. Your sound confirms that you are breathing out in a very controlled, slow pace. And volume of the sound will usually be equivalent to the volume of the air which you are exhaling. So it's a very simple feedback to your mind. You can do this very simply, very easily. Extend this breathing out process for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, as long as you can. Okay. With comfort, do not make yourself uncomfortable. And do this for 10 to 15 minutes every day. You can do more, okay, but minimum 10 to 15 minutes every day. What will happen with this? I told you how it will help you to improve your parasympathetic nervous system so that your healing is good, your sleep quality improves, your digestion improves. So indirectly, it will help you in every chronic issue. Every chronic issue. Directly, if you want to see something, it will improve something called your HRV. Because I am a doctor, I should prove, no, I know something more. So I'm just giving you a thing. HRV is called heart rate variability. Heart rate variability. The higher the HRV, now please remember here, heart rate variability is not something what you call arrhythmia. Arrhythmia is irregular heartbeat. That is bad. I'm not talking about that. Heart rate variability is a different concept. Higher the HRV, better is your health. Higher the HRV, better is your health. Higher the HRV, better is the capacity of your heart to respond to a change. That means a healthy heart will have higher HRV. It can respond to a change very quickly. So when you do this simple breathing exercise, you increase your HRV. High HRV means higher life expectancy, lower inflammation, better willpower. Better willpower. Tomorrow morning, I will get up and exercise. Morning when alarm rings, our short-term mind kicks in and it gives excuses. Why sleep is more important than exercise. Why you can do it in the evening. How you can avoid it today. All that will come. And it will give you a wonderful logic to sleep for some more time. Lack of willpower. So higher HRV will improve your willpower. Let me give you a fun fact. How many of you know Messi, footballer? Anybody? Messi? Lionel Messi? Yes, legendary footballer, yeah. You know, Messi's coach checks his HRV every day to see the level of training he requires. If HRV goes low, that means he is getting into fatigue. So he says, you take rest now. You don't need training. It is applied at higher level for athletes, international players at most places now. In India, it is still building. I am making attempt to see that we can measure HRV here and promote this. But what happens, you know, I'll tell you the secret. If you come to me as a doctor, and if I tell you just breathe and go, how will you come back to me? How will I get money? So I have to create some system by which you keep paying me money. Yeah. So it won't be given to you in this form easily. Although there are efforts being made, a lot of people are doing this. I personally spoke with late Dr. K.K. Agrawal, unfortunately, who expired due to COVID. He invited me to speak on HRV and he encouraged me to do more work in this. Okay. So the point here is, the takeaway point is, you have to take deep, slow, smooth, rhythmic breathing in the way I have explained every day for 10 to 15 minutes. Now, after 3 months, if you ask, sir, nothing happened after attending this class, I will ask you one question. Did you do this or not? Or did you find some excuse for doing this? Okay. One more thing which can help you to remain healthy is your association with the society, with the community. How well connected you are. Are you a loner? Loner doesn't mean being introvert. Introvert is fine. People like to be alone sometimes, introspect. That's fine. I'm not talking about that. But get involved into meeting with people, into some kind of social activity where you socialize. Maybe a team game, maybe visiting a nearby orphanage. Do anything, what interests you. I'm not telling, do a group study, whatever you like. Play a group game. Go to Toastmasters, come to Ramakrishna Mutt, go to visit to a temple, do some community service. Whatever appeals to you as per your present liking, disliking, but get involved into some or other social activity. Spend time with elderly people in your apartment. Ask them about their life, about their lessons. Tell stories to the kids nearby. There are so many things to do, provided we apply this. What happens is today, today's economy is called attention economy. Attention economy. I keep mentioning it. The competition between Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, you can name anything. All these companies, all these top companies, is the competition of grabbing more human attention. Okay, that's the competition. Because more human attention they command, more money they can make, because they can sell you more products. That's why we all find ourselves hooked to this device. You know, Swamiji Bodhmayanandaji says, the 6-inch fellow controls 6 feet person. That's true. So what happens, since we are glued to this, we may tell the whole world, you know, I mean, I find it very strange sometimes. I have to announce it on Facebook, happy birthday to my dear brother. Are you not talking to your brother? I don't know what kind of, see, it's fine that you want to let people know that you're celebrating something. But there has to be certain understanding of relationships and casual networking, talking, or seeking attention from people. Our life has to be driven by ourselves, the more and more we leave it to the external factors, the more and more we lose our freedom. Our freedom is lost. I don't have time for my kids, but I have time for this. I don't have time for my spouse, but I have time for this. This is what being done with this attention economy. Because the addictive programs are being made, keeping human psyche in mind. And it's unfortunate or fortunate, we do not know. There are plus sides of it, minus sides of it. My Google knows more about me than anybody else. That's a fact for most of us. And therefore, it knows how to drive me. It knows what should be my next video in that reel or in that next YouTube feed. It knows what will be my liking. And it keeps on giving me those dopamine hits, which makes me feel good in present moment. Therefore, it's very important for us to get involved into something which will help you to get rid of this for at least some time of the day or week. And when you dedicatedly spend your time in something which is beyond you. Okay. This is again proven in many studies that people who actually get involved, who are more socialized, who enjoy deeper connection, empathy, they actually live happy and longer. They actually live happy and longer. Countries where families are still having that old system of, not a nuclear family, but a bigger family, a joint family. Usually, I'm not telling that all is hunky-dory there. I'm not telling that. Usually, they enjoy better health and longer life. Maybe they do not enjoy better comfort. I agree to it. But overall, they enjoy better health. So get involved into some of this activity, whatever is your liking. These two things, if you do, your wellness will go up. Okay. Your happiness will go up. Your quality of life will improve. And if qualitatively everything is good, it will slowly reflect in quantity of life also, because you will perform better. You are having better self-control. You will be emotionally more intelligent. Therefore, your decisions will be good. You will be able to make long-term plans and get rid of short-term orientation. The moment we get hold of ourselves, one thing long back I have written is the Western idea of being the king is rule the world. That's why we had so many invasions. Indian idea of being the king is ruling yourself. The day we rule self, we become the king. And that's what this thing will give you. Yeah. So I will stop here. It's 9:28. We can spend some 10 to 15 minutes if you have any questions. Thank you so much for listening patiently. Now, any questions are welcome. I think mics are just a minute. Yeah, you can unmute yourself, I think now.
Namaste, Dr. Namaste, Maharaj. I just wanted to thank you. Each and every session you provide which is so deep and impactful. Sometimes you come across as a faculty in every session. So versus Maharaj said, like, we have new faculty. I think we have so much to learn. I think some of the very profound insights, if I have to recall from previous sessions, right? From the mind management, you said the identity you take, you start manifesting. And again in the last week, last character building, right? The integrity of intention that has kept me out of sleep for several days. How we are unwiring our subconscious mind and all those things, and also other acronyms you can positive thinking, save a date. So some of the wealth and the insights you are giving is very profound. I just wanted to say thank you again. Today is also very enriching. It's all about practicing, and again, just wanted to thank you. I wish I have learned this 10, 20 years back. I just want to make at this point because we have a lot of youngsters here, just so that they realize the wealth you are giving, and the wisdom we are getting. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Any other question anyone has? You have to unmute before you speak. Yeah, please. Mani Kumarji, you can speak by unmuting. I have from my side allowed, who is moderating? Could you please allow unmuting the mic? From my side, I have allowed it. Let me do this. Ask to unmute. Okay.
Shekhar, turn speak.
Yes.
Namaste, Swamiji. Namaste, Dr. Vivek. So yeah, it's really enlightening session this is. So I'm really happy to attend this, and it was really an enriching experience. Thanks for that. And I have one question from my end. Can you suggest a book that the teachings you said we can extend the knowledge? Any book can you please suggest us?
See, the books from which these things are taken are technical in nature. Still, since you have asked, let me tell you, especially about the breathing part, there is a book called Coherence. Coherence by Dr. Alan Watkins.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is the book which talks about the importance of how breathing can help you in certain aspect. Of course, all the books on yoga tells it. Only thing is they tell it in a different context, but things are more or less same. These are no different things. Yeah. So any yoga expert teaches you all these things.
Any self-improvement books, sir? Any best book you can suggest?
Please visit Mutt Library. You have scores of books. There are 50,000 books available there. Choose as per your liking. First of all, choose at least this one book. I might have given to, I don't even remember how many people. Which is Swamiji's Call to the Nation. Unfortunately, I don't have here right now. There are so many small books. Start from small books and then slowly move on to the bigger books. See, one thing is, I'm not a big proponent of reading too many self-help books because that is also a kind of addiction. I would rather suggest you read Inspiring Lives because they give you much deeper message. So let us say if you want to get into entrepreneurship, read life of some successful entrepreneur. If you want to get into your efficiency, read somebody who has really lived an efficient life. That gives a little more thing. And read Vivekananda because he's an example for everything. And I'm not telling you just because I'm on this platform. You can see my home, everything is filled with this, and a lot of things what I speak are subconsciously coming from that. So complete works of Vivekananda, if you read his writings and all, he has not left almost any topic. Okay, so explore that, and of course you will find more. One more book I suggest, which I personally like so much, is Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Power of Now. That's also gets into a different aspect of spirituality. Focuses on more on how to be in present moment. So that's a very good book. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Any other question anyone has?
Pranam Swamiji, good morning, Vivek Garu. This is a very good session. We deal with so many problems day-to-day life. As you said, I mean, we are living comfortably than our predecessors, but yeah, I mean, the happiness and the peacefulness, we're kind of losing it day by day. So whatever the inputs, I think we're definitely going to practice. Two things I've taken out doing that: rhythmic, slow deep breaths, and also
slow, deep, smooth, rhythmic breathing.
Yeah. The contact with the community. I think that's more important. Looks like. But the only thing is, like, we have positive thoughts, but I think sometimes, I mean, personally, I don't have the willpower to execute. You know, you need constant motivation. I mean, you think about a lot. I need to do this. I need to improve myself, but over a period of time, then a mind gives you a lot of excuses, right? So as you said, okay, probably I'll do it next time. So it's kind of a fickle mind. Even if you have positive thoughts, the execution is not there. So how we can get out of that and then, get into a mode where you get a decent, lifestyle, and then the way you wanted to live with that willpower. So,
So this is, I get your question. Very quickly, let me answer, and please make a note of it because this is a very commonly asked question. 2 words. First, abhyasa. Second, satsanga. Abhyasa, satsanga. Let me explain in modern term what is the meaning of it. Abhyasa is training your mind for the things which you want. Now, how do you train your mind? Presently, I have a mind which has lost control over itself. So mind is controlling me. I'm not controlling the mind. So I am making a decision to get up early, but I'm not able to do. I am making a decision to exercise, but I'm not able to do. Any such X amount of decisions I make and I do not follow. Every time I make a decision and then I falter over it, I give a signal to my mind that you are good for nothing. You're not going to follow. This is a signal I'm giving to my own mind every time I'm making a decision, taking a decision, conscious choice. Not because I told, not because Swamiji told, not because XYZ told you, because you decided. And after that, you did not follow it up. So mind is getting constant feedback, which says, don't trust this fellow. Your mind is telling, don't trust this fellow, because subconscious mind reads everything. We cannot fool it. And what you need to do in Abhyasa is reverse this cycle. How do you reverse it? Simple thing is called small sankalp. What is small sankalp? In Hindi, there is a saying, sankalp pura karna hai to vikalp chhodna hai. Sankalp pura karna hai to vikalp chhodna hai. So you do a small sankalp to reverse this cycle. What is that sankalp? Today, I will use my phone only for 1 hour. It could be 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever you want. This week, I will get up 4 a.m. only for this week. Next week, you get up 10 a.m. But this week, you prove your mind, I am the boss. Okay. Every day, every week, whatever is comfortable range for you, give your mind a challenge and win over that one challenge. Okay. This week, I am going to read the book of Swamiji every morning for half an hour. And do that one thing this week properly. Rest of the things you do as you like. Reverse the cycle, prove your mind that you are the boss. So do Abhyasa with Sankalp. Okay. The more you train this, your mind in by reversing the cycle, your mind will start getting the signal that no, I have to take this fellow seriously because he decides something and he does something. And things will start getting reversed. Of course, deep, slow, smooth, rhythmic breathing will add to this willpower. It will give you better self-control. It will help you in delaying gratification, ability to delay gratification. It will develop when you do that deep, slow, smooth, rhythmic breathing. Your body will be a little more receptive to your commands when you do that breathing exercises. Apart from that, do this and reverse the cycle. Okay. The more you reverse the cycle, so this is at, if I tell technically, this is called self-control. See, there are 2 kinds of control you need to do in order to change a habit. Stimulus control, self-control. Stimulus control, self-control. Self-control is coming from Abhyasa, Sankalpa. Okay. How do you control stimulus? By Satsanga. Satsanga means what? I choose an environment which is in alignment to my goal. I choose an environment which is in alignment to my goal. So my goal is to become a businessman, an entrepreneur, a healthy person, a good speaker. I choose those environments which will give me all this. So I get into contact of those people who are good speakers because I want to learn that. Maybe I join a club where people are learning speaking. Maybe I'm following those social media handles where I will get these inputs. So I'm giving myself that environment. Satsanga in today's world could be social media. It could be a lot of activities what you do, kinds of things you read, applications you browse or websites you browse. Bring them into alignment so that your constant input is not challenging your willpower. See, understand this, your environment will almost always beat your willpower. Your environment will almost always beat your willpower. You can have willpower, today morning onwards, I will eat only salad, healthy food. and you're sitting on the dining table and your younger brother is having aloo parotha, somebody is having doodh jalebi, somebody is having all those sandwiches and all, and you are having your salad, how long you will resist it? You are making things difficult for yourself. So for that, choose satsanga. Come to people like this place, like Ramakrishna Mutt. Why I visit to Ramakrishna Mutt? Because I know this is my anchor. Ramakrishna Mutt is like my anchor. If I drift somewhere, they will hold me back. This organization, the people here, the book here, the environment here, Swamiji's, all, they will keep my mind on track, because mind is very fickle, extremely fickle. In Swamiji's own words, he says, a human mind, untrained human mind is like a monkey, jumping here and there, not stable, not an ordinary monkey, which is drunk and bitten by a scorpion and possessed by a devil. Imagine the agony of that monkey. That is what human mind is. So what we are suffering is natural human mind. That's what lower mind is, animalistic mind. It wavers here and there. It cannot think beyond today and now. If we have to upgrade ourselves, then slowly we have to train by abhyasa and by sankalpa and by satsanga. If you train yourself, then you can change the default mode of your lower mind. Then I don't feel like getting into nonsensical gossips. Then I don't feel like spoiling my day or in doing something which is not going to help me in long term, because my default mode has changed. Till then, it is a journey. And this journey will be done by stimulus control and self-control. So I hope you get the answer. I think we have to stop here. It's 9:40. Let's respect the time. Thank you so much, all of you. I wish you try to apply the things which you have learned. Thank you so much. Over to the host. Who's hosting?
Modi over answers.
Yes, Swamiji. I'm done.
Fantastic. Okay. Shekhar, what happened to your question? You have been trying and trying.
Jai Shri Ram Krishna Maharaj. Namaste Maharaj. Sir, Dr. C, Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Sir, I have actually a doubt in, sir, I do the yogasanas and after that I follow pranayama next. So sometimes mind cannot be restless, it will continuous restless, sir. So you said that HRV, no sir, it is how to improve that and how to note down the things regarding this HRV, how to follow actually. I think I should attend this pranayama session.
You please attend the, yes, meditation and yoga sessions are there. They will tell you in detail. So learn it from expert rather than me. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Modi ji was talking about satsangam or choices. Shashank, please tell about our Sunday satsangam to all others who have not been attending. Tomorrow, let me see at least 100 people attending.
Pranam Swamiji, Namaste, Dr. Modi. So every Sunday in the at 5:30, Swamiji arranges a satsang for all of us who are very enthusiastic to make changes in our life. Swamiji starts with a meditation. So Shekhar, if you are willing to explore that part, which you are looking for calming your mind, that is a form of meditation which helps us introspect, learn the part of breathing, and also do some japa and mantra and learn from Swami Vivekananda, Thakurji and Ma Sharda based on their teachings, and we try to meditate on those teachings, followed by teachings by, so right now Swamiji is taking up teachings by elder Swamijis, presidents and vice presidents of the order, how they have taught different disciples, all the questions, all the spiritual questions, all the life-based questions which they have. So Swamiji takes those lessons with us, followed by read through lectures of Almora to Colombo to Almora, where we get to hear Swami Vivekananda's life words, which he has given to all of us, and which are treasure for every one of us to make changes in our life. Followed by that, we end up with Sri Ramakrishna Sankaram, which is again giving us back, which is a way to lead us through the week, which is going to be if you're a working person like me, it keeps us anchored to keep our mind focused on the way of living. As Swamiji says that we have to inculcate yoga in our everyday work. So that is a very good way to start your week, and I would really recommend you all to join us at 5:30 tomorrow in the evening. It's absolutely a great session and the best way to start your week if you're working or a student. So
The link and all those who are interested can write to me or write to Shashank. We will forward the link, first timers, and the same link will continue on Sundays, 5:30 to 7 every Sunday. Open for all of you, open for our volunteers and also spiritual seekers, those who want to keep up that spirit. Okay, Ambika is attending from Gurugram. She can tell her experience.
Pranam Swamiji.
Yeah.
The satsang is a kind of a spiritual wisdom that we seek from Swami Bodhmayanandaji's great effort, I would say, a sincere effort, so that we reform and become true human beings for the purpose which we are born for. And it's a very deep statement. I think each day of the week we spend working on ourselves, but the true self is something we are disconnected with. This satsang effortlessly bring us close to our true self, the way a human being should live life happily with spiritual wisdom. So it's a gateway to spirituality. I think we welcome, VIHE welcomes Swami Bodhmayananda Ji satsang, are absolute great divine blessings. So please join with open hearts and just experience after 7 o'clock what you have gained. Judge it for yourself. This is my experience. I do write the summaries, what Swamiji speaks, connecting the Ramakrishna Mutt's teachings along with the presidents, their lifestyles, readings from Swami Vivekananda, so that we are charged up with that self-confidence, which we are looking for in books. You get open rain of self-confidence in the satsang. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good choice. Life is full of choices. Should I get up or should I not get up in the morning? Should I meditate or not meditate? But if you ask a soldier why he faces the bullet, he says, I love my country. Is it not? And when we have a higher purpose, higher love of God, not just the physical frame or physical relationships, then we will sacrifice our personal interest for a higher cause. Is it not? Somebody is doing a old age home. Why he or she should organize a old age home in the modern times? That is because he feels for others. He sees the suffering of the old people in the hands of the youngsters, and he takes them, or he gets them admitted and serves them till they leave the body, till they depart. Somebody is there's one of our devotees in Kolkata by name Vinayak Lohaniji. Every day now he is 8th ambulance in Madhya Pradesh. Kolkata man, he is going to Madhya Pradesh and serving the downtrodden people, even at this modern times of 21st century, 21st year. 8th ambulance he has put 24 hours in 6 districts of Madhya Pradesh. And it's continuously he is pushing away the negativity from the life of the people. So why is he doing that? His choice of serving God in man as taught by Swamiji. So that is one other great option that he has taken up. He is IIT Kharagpur, IIM Kolkata. 2003 he was offered 50 lakh rupees per annum salary, but he took up this Parivar group and going into the tribal areas of Madhya Pradesh. So these are all very, very interesting people who are, as Modi ji said, where we can learn from the live experiences of the inspired people. They are inspired to serve the nation, to improve their spiritual growth, not just quantification. So these courses we are working on. All of you support this in any way possible by, you can whether it's Manikumar, whether it is Vijay, whether it is Shashank, or whether it is Vishwanathji, Ambika, and all others who are in the professional field who are working, write to us and we will write your feedbacks, what you learned the 6 days, a kind of note, a kind of reaction from these classes in your life, so that I can spread it to others and new people in our blog, in our website, in our Facebook, where we cannot reach physically now. Let us reach through technology, use technology for spreading this beautiful message. All of you can write, nearly 40 people, 39 people minus myself and Modiji, 39. All of you can write, and we'll put it, we have a Facebook account, VIHEHYD, Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence, Hyderabad channel, Facebook. You can subscribe to that, you can like that and get notifications, lot of videos. YouTube channel, then we have got our app, everything I've told you, nothing new in this. So let us not be ruled by the commercial market. Let us not be ruled, dictated by the internet. There's a book called, somebody was asking this one, a series of books published from Ramakrishna Chennai. You can get it online also, or if you are in Hyderabad, you can come to our bookstall. Morning 9 o'clock till evening 8 o'clock, 24 hours, nearly 12 hours, bookstall is open. Swami Paramananda. Swami Paramananda was the disciple of Swami Vivekananda. At a very young age of 27 years, he was sent to America and he spread the message of Vedanta there. Then Americans wanted the small books at the time itself, 1930s, 1940s. So he used to prepare class notes, and those books are very, very famous. Short books, pocket books, written from his experience and from the scriptures and from his own life. One book is called Faith is Power. Faith is Power. Small book, 50 pages. Second book is called Silence as Yoga. Silence as Yoga. Okay. Third book, Right Resolutions. It's a 24-page book, just a pocket book about what we think, what we do, some of the resolutions which Modiji was talking about. He is given that. He has instructed, he has taken us like a child upwards. Right Resolutions. There's another fourth book called Self-Mastery. Self-Mastery. Okay, Self-Mastery. 4. And there is another book, outside book, dealing with our self, our lost self. Sri Ramakrishna used to tell, find the truth, dive deep, oh my mind, within yourself. There's a beautiful Bengali song. He used to sing that. Dubu 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 mon roop shagore. Oh mind, plunge inside in meditation, plunge inside in love, plunge inside in yoga, into that sagara in your own heart. There you'll get Ratnas, you'll get Vrindavan of joy. So there's a beautiful book, maybe it's a real story of American boy by name Dib, D-I-B. Okay. This book I have given to hundreds of people since many, many years. There's a story of a little boy named Dibs. He will not talk. He will not play. He has locked himself in a very special prison. He has locked himself in a very special prison. And he is alone. This is the story of how he learned to reach out for the sunshine, for life. How he came to breathless discovery of himself that brought him back to the world of other children. It's a very deep inner, it moves you, it churns you up inside out. The title of the book is Dibs in Search of the Self. It's a fascinating title. Dib in Search of Self. Atma Anveshana, Atma Gnanam, Atma Jignasa. Who am I? Who am I? And the author is Virginia Exline. She is a psychologist. It's her classic, the child therapy classic. The renowned, deeply moving story of an emotionally lost child who found his way back. Virginia Exline. It is available in our book, not our bookshop, outside bookshops, or today we have got that Amazon book cart and and Flipkart also. Door delivery will be done. You can get it. So this is a very fascinating book for health and mind, and you can share that story with many of your people. It helps the younger generation, children, how they are lost in the market of advertisements and lost in the market of ego and false self-image, etc. Okay. There's another great book written by one of our senior Swamis, one of the senior trustees of the Ramakrishna Order, by name Swami Bhajanananda. I recommend that book to everybody, new or seniors. The title of the book is The Light of the Modern World. The Light of the Modern World. The Universal Significance of Sri Ramakrishna's Avatarahood and Message. That is the subtitle. The Universal Significance of Sri Ramakrishna's Avatarahood and Message. Swami Bhajanananda. It's our Ramakrishna Math publication. It's available in Hyderabad. It's available in any of the Ramakrishna Math centers that you can visit in your own place if you are away from Hyderabad. So please go through these books and connect yourself with us regularly. Today evening, for local people, Telugu people, Bhagavad Gita class, Vibhuti Yoga, going on at 5:45. YouTube channel, live streaming is there. And physically also, you are welcome to the Math if you are in Hyderabad and attend the class for 1 hour. 5:45 to 6:45, Telugu. Tomorrow, 5:30, live stream Zoom link. Our Shashank has posted in the chat box, as typed in the chat box. Okay. And Monday morning onwards, another satsangam of 6 days on mind management. So we are constantly giving you free-flowing water, pure water. Now you have to bring at least a bottle or a jug or a mug or a bucket and take as much as you can, right? So Mahasagara, Divya Sagara of Sri Ramakrishna, that is always there. And since you're all in the professional field, in leadership, we are now in the process of conducting Vivekananda Youth Leadership Award Contest for college children, +1, +2, junior college. It is going on now. Yesterday also we had till night 10 o'clock. 12th standard students are participating all over the country from various cities, Jammu Kashmir to Tamil Nadu, Kerala. So I request all of you to participate in that. I mean, observe that, listen to how the young children are talking about Swamiji, answering the questions of the judges. We are still in the first round. Nearly 1,300 children are participating. Every day, every alternate day, first round contest is going on like Olympics. It's our Olympics, Human Excellence Olympics. Okay, that is at the sport level, but here we are looking at the personality level. So they are contesting among themselves. They are answering the questions of our judges. Why personality? Why Vivekananda? What is the situation today? What will be the future? So please cooperate with that. Join us. Give your ideas. They are the future citizens of India, +1, +2. Another 10 years, he may be IAS officer, he may be a foreign secretary, he may be a big industrialist, he may become a big social worker. Or he may renounce the world and become a monk and search for God. So this is our search for truth in among. Appreciate them, encourage them, recognize them, give them your idea, give them the this one, food of the mind. So you can join that. You can connect with me every week whenever there is a new link for that Zoom, for that competition contest. We will, tomorrow also it is there, morning 11 o'clock. Another 60-65 students, we listen to them from Hyderabad, from Kerala, from Bangalore, from Pune, from Delhi. They're all attending from top schools and government colleges, etc. So it's a very interesting program that we are doing through virtual mode. and it will be a good support to us also. Okay. So please participate in all this. And on behalf of all of you, my namaskar, greetings to Dr. Modi, and wish him well, his family, and all of you also, your family, strength, values, and build up your inner strength and potentiality, and contribute to the service to the society. Okay. So we'll end with the prayer. Oh. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Namaste to all of you. Shubhadinam, Shubhavaram, Arogya Praptirastu, and gain mental strength and peace, meditate, and join the yoga courses and get connected as much as possible. You can write to me, bodhamayanda@gmail.com, and I shall put you in our WhatsApp groups also, our Telegram groups also, and it will be a good company of online students from all over the country. Thank you. Good day. Thank you.